For section 4.3, we are going to be solving equations for a variable. So you're going to be given some formulas, which is an equation that describes a relationship among quantities, and you're going to be asked to solve for a variable. And what that means is you're going to rearrange the formula using the inverse operations that we've been practicing over the last week and a half to isolate the indicated variable. So for example 1, it says solve the formula V equals L times W times H for H. So what we're going to do, we don't have any numbers here, but we can move some of the letters. So nothing's going to cancel out. We're basically just rearranging here. So we want to solve for H. And since this is all multiplication, we're going to have to divide. And we want to get rid of the L and the W, the L times W. And we can do that all in one step since it's being multiplied together. So they would cancel out over here and we would have H equals, and then our answer is just simply V divided by LW. So we're rearranging, not actually solving and simplifying things down. Example 2, we are going to solve E equals 1/2 times K times X squared for K. And this is the potential energy of a spring. This is the formula for that. So to solve this for K, we are going to have to divide by 1/2. And remember, dividing by 1/2 is the same thing as multiplying by 2. So over here, we're going to have E times 2, or we can say 2E equals K times X squared. And then we have to get rid of that X squared. So it's being multiplied by K right now. So we are going to divide by X squared to get rid of it. So they would cancel out here. We would have K equals, and then we just leave this 2 times E divided by X squared. And that is our final answer. For example 3, solve the formula P equals A plus B plus C for B. So we are going to get rid of the A and the C. So we're going to minus A here. So we're going to have P minus A equals, A's are canceled here, and we have B plus C left. And then we have to get rid of that C. It's plus C, so we're going to minus C. So I have P minus A minus C is equal to B. Example 4, a flower garden is made up of a square and an isosceles triangle with the dimensions as shown. Use the formula for perimeter to write a formula for the side length of the square in terms of the perimeter. So step 1 wants us to write and simplify the formula for the perimeter. So for perimeter means we're going to add up the sides of our shape. And in order to do so, we have to figure out what those 2 missing sides are from our shape that are not labeled. So if that's a square at the bottom, if the top is X, then the bottom part has to be X. And it did say in the beginning part that this is an isosceles triangle, so that means that 2 sides are the same. So that means that this side is going to be 7/8 X as well. So for perimeter, we are going to have 7/8 X plus 7/8 X plus X plus X plus X. So if we simplify that, we will have 14/8 X here with the fractions, and we'll have 3X with the just regular X's. And then if we add those together, 14/8 is the same thing as 1 and 6/8. And 1 and 6/8 is the same thing as 1 and 3/4. So 1 and 3/4 X plus 3 X is going to give us 4 and 3/4 X. And that would equal the perimeter. So for part 1 or step 1 here, the formula is P equals 4 and 3/4 times X. Then for step 2, we are going to have to solve that equation for X. So if I rewrite that, it looks like that. I do want to make this fraction improper, so we're going to multiply going this way, so that would be 16, and then we're going to add that 3, so that would be 19/4 x equals the perimeter. In order to get rid of the 19/4, we're going to divide by 19/4. And dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal, so we're actually going to times by 4/19. So these would cancel here. We would have x equals 4/19 times the perimeter. So that is solved for x. Next up, we have literal equation, and that is equation with 2 or more variables. So everything that we've seen today basically is a literal equation because it definitely has 2 or more variables involved. So we're still going to solve here. A times the quantity of x plus b equals c for x. And they're telling us that a can't be 0, so we have to take that into consideration. So in order to solve for x here, we're going to have to get rid of that a. So we're going to divide by a because that's being multiplied right now. And the reason they tell us that a can't be 0 is because I couldn't have a 0 here right now. I couldn't divide by that. So a is definitely not 0, so that makes it possible to have this c divided by a. And then our last step to solve for x is to get rid of that plus b, so we're going to minus b. So we're going to have x equals c over a minus b. And then it is solved for x. And your turn. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds here, pause the video and solve this and see if you come up with the same answer that I get. So to solve this for m, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And I would have k plus m equals 5 divided by 2. Then I want to get rid of that k. It's a positive k, so I'm going to subtract k from both sides. And I would have m equals 5/2 minus k. And one more here. 2x plus 10 equals 5y minus 4, and we need to solve this for y. So when I look, y is over here on the right-hand side, so I need to get rid of this minus 4, so I'm going to add 4. And I can combine like terms on this one because I have the 10 plus 4. So that would become 14. And then I have the 5 to get rid of, so I'm going to have to divide both sides by 5. So now I'm going to have to divide both of these numbers by 5, so I'm going to have 2/5 x plus 14/5 equals y. And we have solved for y, so that is our final answer.